Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to cover the AI next video. So in our first video, maybe if you have not watched, I would sincerely recommend go and watch the definition of artificial intelligence. So we covered in that video definition of artificial intelligence, what does it mean by, and what kind of several definition possible definitions that we have, and what it is going to be do. So those kind of things are being covered in the definition section, and in this video I'm going to cover the next topic on artificial intelligence, that is history and evolution. Every time whenever we are knowing any kind of patterns or any kind of new technology or new innovation, we just know its basics, where it is started and from that place where it is growing. So that's kind of history that we are going to learn as it as a habit, right, for us. So similarly, in this video I'm going to cover the AI artificial intelligence history and evolution, where it is started from that place today where it is, those kind of history and evolution that we are going to discuss. So as a baby, right, every time, so baby first started walking, and from there, so we're going to admit them into the education purpose, we're going to admit them into the pre-primary, and then to the primary, and then to the secondary, and then to the intermediate, and then finally to the graduations, and then they're going to do the master, and then finally they're going to do the PhD, right? Similar way, artificial intelligence also started its baby step in the early stage, 17th to 19th century. So this is kind of revolution where artificial intelligence basic foundation as a pre-primary has started, I would say. So in these specific years, what has been done is like, so the mechanical thinking of machines, we have machines, right, and they, so there are kind of lot of researches happened. So they actually started having an habitude of, let's say these machines are been thinking, then what is going to happen, so can we apply a thinking or else a thought kind of process to a machine. So those kind of revolution has started in the early 17th to 19th century. So those kind of is the first basic stepstone for artificial intelligence, because whatever that we are right now talking is artificial intelligence, it's just all about thinking, percep- perceptions, right? So those kind of things, if machine understanding your input, and then it is going to processing your input and then giving you a final raw output. So those kind of things, it need a thinking kind of strategy. So the basic stepstone has been started in that 17th century, and then followed with computers beyond arithmetic. You might have understood, right, the computer revolution also has started at the same time. So that time computers are being initially used for doing a arithmetic calculation and storing the information of an arithmetic calculation, because that is what our kid is also going to do, right? When they have been at the primary stage, when they are studying first or second or third grade, they, so the whatever the educational systems, they're going to follow some kind of standards and asking them to follow addition, subtraction, and then multiplication and division kind of mathematical basic foundation that they're gonna learn to them, right? Similar way, that time in the early 1842, so the most of the computer things are been happening only to do the arithmetic evaluation. So and from there, beyond arithmetic calculation, they are already thought through what a computer can do beyond this arithmetic. So that time they have been explore multiple options. That is also another stepping stone for the AI foundation. And then, so this boolean algebra, if you might aware of it, right, after the basic arithmetics of doing addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, or else even tabulars, some 10 multiplied by some 50, so kind of arithmetic things are being done. And thereafter, there's a boolean algebra involved into it. So where it has actually used boolean algebra is like, if you see boolean algebra, it's just a kind of and or not kind of boolean arithmetic evaluation. Let's say you are been doing some kind of operation. Let's say if a component A have true and then component B has true, then A and B should be true. Kind of logical, things that have been implemented in this early stage. This Boolean algebra is talking about all that, because that is also kind of foundation, because you are going through multiple data processing in the artificial intelligence. You are just going, hey, this has been getting true, and then from there the next step would be false. Then you are going to skip that result because that is not been satisfied your conjunction. So kind of things that comes under the Boolean algebra, that is also kind of stepping stone to understand the computers to store the information and then process the information, and then responding back some kind of output to us. So those kind of things are being coming into the context of Boolean algebra. So especially the Boolean algebra is a kind of foundation for our what I would say, the electronic machines, whatever that circuits are being designed, right? That's a kind of foundation for them, as like how computer foundation is arithmetic. Similarly, for electronic circuits design, this Boolean algebra is the foundation. So those, everything has been interlinked together to have this artificial intelligence formed at the early stage. But this is very basic stage, it is not something more specific to AI. But at that time, it's basic information to store the information of whatever it is doing, or else whatever that it is learning, a machine can think as like a human. Kind of stepstones are being done in this stage, but more of the foundation has done on this foundational development. So because at the early 20th century, this is where the majority of the artificial intelligence foundation has been started. So they have been first artificial intelligence, if you remember, you might have played the chess game, right? That chess game, you are been playing with a kind of what I would say, you are having one player and the second player should be a remote player, or else sometimes the second player should be your computer itself. You are going to play with your computer. So after you move some kind of chess coin, and then obviously, so the other person is gonna be thinking as their itself thinking perspective has been built. So whenever that you see the chess game, it is one kind of best example for artificial intelligence foundation, because you are been playing with a kind of a person who is already doing a similar kind of, because whatever the step that you have been moved, and based on that the other person outcome is going to be behave like, okay, this strategy has been applied, then this is the strategy that I have to put to survive in this game. Kind of you will have. So those, that chess game is one of the best example for this foundation for artificial intelligence. And the other one is like the Turing machine. So what is this meaning of this Turing machine in 1936, and then in the Turing test that has been conducted in 1950? That is a major move for artificial intelligence, I would say. Reason behind is like, because they have been, the Turing test is nothing but a test that is going to be conducted between two kind of perceptions. There's one side you have a machine, and another side you have a human. So this similar, the kind of a lot of questions will be asked both to the human and then at the same time to the machine. So who is responding and what kind of way? So that the whoever is asking, or else whoever conducting this Turing test, he can certify saying that who is machine and who is a human. So why this test is really needed? Because that is what artificial intelligence has to focus on, right? It has to simulate the human experience, human intelligence, how it has been human is going to interact for this situation, or for this specific question. So similar kind of answer the machine also has to be respond. So that kind of testing has been done, and that has been passed at 1915. Because human, because we can't able to differ who is human and then who is the machine. So that kind of almost matching results that has been performed by a machine, so who given the answer similar to human. So that means it is actually having that intelligence of storing the information and then retrieving the information based on the situation. You might have n number of data, but among that n number of data, based on current situation, which specific data to be retrieved and to be presented, so that's where the human intelligence come into the play, right? That kind of intelligence, this test is also being performed, and that's where machine is also performed, better results that time. And then coming to the other one, artificial neural neurons model. That's another, what I would say, a kind of stepping stone in 1943. Artificial neurons is nothing but, we have biological neurons, right? However, our brain is going to function by connecting multiple neurons, biological neurons in our brain. and then that is where it is gonna give some kind of final response. Let's say you're reacting, or else somebody is asking a question to you, might have stored this information into your brain at some point of time, and now you are connecting multiple biological neurons in our brain, and then you are reacting to that, okay, this might be the answer for this question. So those kind of things are going to happen. Even for system to perform the similar kind of human intelligence kind of behavior, it should also has to behave simulate or else similar to how biological neurons are being there. Similarly, artificial neuron has been built in this year. So once you have artificial neurons, then you'll have Hebb's rule of learning. That is where you have some artificial neuron you built. So among these neurons, how you can connect one neuron with another neuron, because our human brain is also not going to be function with one single neuron. It will have lot of millions of neurons, and one neuron connected with another neuron, and every neuron is going to store some kind of information and then retrieve it based on the situation. So that's where this Hebb's rule also, in 1949. So with multiple one neuron connecting with another neuron, how the reaction is going to happen, that kind of basic fundamental step has been conducted here, and that's where based on that positive outcome, this has been moved. And another one is this is for machine learning checkers program. So why we need it for as I said, right, chess or else checker program. So this is a kind of a computer program, so where machine has to learn something, and it is not going to learn every step. Okay, if other person has been did this kind of probability, then you just go and respond with this kind of probability. We can't feed every kind of information like this to a machine, but machine has to learn by its own way. Every individual checker, how it is going to perform, like maybe a camel might gonna in the chess, the camel will move like this, or else the elephant will move to the straight line, or else the middle person, the minister is gonna have superpower kind of thing. He can even go cross line or else straight line. It's kind of probabilities only you gonna give those kind of probabilities what each everyone is gonna do, and then having that, you're gonna make your system to learn based on other person outcome. That has been started in machine learning checkers program. So they have been given some kind of learning in reinforcement learning, we call it as, right. That's a basic foundation for machine learning. That reinforcement learning machine can learn how it is going to learn by it, kind of own information. Those kind of basic steps have been started here, and that is the foundation for our AI and along with machine learning. And then coming to the final one, this is where the more revolution has started. After foundation, and then after going with multiple phases of AI, and then finally AI has reached it deep learning era, modern revival, and then deep learning era from 2000. There are specific there's formal methods and specific problem solutions. Initially they have been targeted to give some kind of solutions for the common occurred problems, how it has been performing, whether it is because similar what I would say, the basic problems and then basic solutions kind of things, they have been used at initial 1990s. And then from 2012 there's a drastic change happened. GPUs are being introduced. So what does mean by GPU? GPU is nothing but a graphic processing unit. Initially it was being used for designing the graphics or else processing images and generating the images. So those kind of purposes the GPUs are being used. GPUs are being not similar to your CPUs. CPUs have very minimal core capacity, and whereas GPUs have a large processing data capabilities with parallel processing. That's the reason, because for our neural networks and for deep learning, you have large volumes of data sets, and from the large volumes of data sets you have to connect to them via the neural network. And to process this much of huge amount of data among you, huge amount of artificial neural networks, you want to use an GPU which is going to do a parallel processing. And then that's where when you are typing something in chat gpt, right, it is processing some huge amount of data, and then finally it is responding. But the time is very minimal, whereas if you use CPU over there, that is not going to perform your task. Even not even 100 hours or even more than that, it is not going to respond back whatever the question that you have been asked for. whereas GPUs, it is going to do the parallel processing. At initially it has been used for this image processing and generation, but later due to its parallel processing and other capabilities, and it has been evolved into the neural network side, and then used it for deep learning purposes. And then the other one is transformer architecture. This is a basic foundation architecture, how a neural network can connect with another neural network, or else how your data, this transformer you can consider is like, you're giving an input to an agent, right? AI agent in a generic way. So while you're giving that input, a transformer will take that input and then try to encode it, and based on that encode, it's gonna decide what would be the decoding output would be like. Sometimes the decoding output would be a machine learning code, and sometimes the decoding would be your natural language, whatever the way that you want to, because you may have regular response, and you can't give that regular response, because that is where the natural language processing is came in picture, right? So you are giving a if you might have seen other video for my series Replet AI, where we are giving a natural language instructions to the AI agent, and it is actually understanding your natural language instructions, and constructing that as a technical requirement, and then converting that to a code, and then it build an application for me. So those kind of revolution, the transformer is also one of the pattern which is going to be used for encoding some kind of information, and then decoding it, and then finally transforming into a different form altogether. Transformer itself is transforming from one kind of position to another kind of state, this data from one place, one set of transformation to another set of transformation, the transformer architecture has been doing. And then 2020s we have this rapid progress in generative AI. So that is where we discussed, right? Generative AI, Replit AI, and then Lovable. Those are the other series of AI videos that we have seen in our series. So those, if you have not watched those videos, I would recommend just go and watch the Replit AI, how we used, it's a kind of generative AI tool. So which is means, you're giving some instructions, and based on that instructions it is generating some response back to you. That's where it comes under the category of generative AI. So those kind of AI boom and rapid progress in generative AI started in 2020s, and from 2022, as we know, ChatGPT has launched, and from there multiple organizations and multiple people are talking about AI, and how it has been fastly growing, because based on its usage only, right? We actually commented, hey, this AI is actually performing very well, and we have to adapt it. That's why every organization is actually spending a lot of money to train most of their developers to adapt to this AI technologies, or else, to use these AI tools in day-to-day life, and then try to complete their task in a fast-paced manner. Let's say previously you want to set something, you're gonna blindly go to a Google or else any search engine, and then you're gonna type, and then you're gonna come across multiple sites. You have to went through all those sites, and then you have to figure out what is your possible answer, whatever that you're looking. There is no conclusion on it. But whereas right now, if you do the similar kind of Google search, first Google is prompting you to an AI based search. The Gemini capability provided AI search, it is giving some precise answer to you, because you are asking some kind of information. Instead of not going through multiple sites, it's also giving that information as well, how it is functioning previously. But other than that, it is also giving this additional information as an answer, with the AI mode, this is what the answer kind of way. So this kind of more revolution has been coming on our way, we have to adapt it. And that's all about in this video of basics, history, and then evolution of artificial intelligence. And we'll focus on the next series of AI into this core goals and capabilities, and other rest of applications, and where it can be used, and kind of techniques. So there are several topics are going to be covered in the future videos. And this is all about today's video, history and evolution of AI. And we covered definition and history of evolution. I'm just recapping, this is what we covered in this AI series. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please do like, and please do share. And if you have any kind of questions, please add a comment. I'll try to have a look on it and then respond back. And please do subscribe. Thanks for watching.